What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're taking a look at a title called Mistaken, which has, for the art style that this game actually has, it has an incredibly nondescript sort of menu screen, I suppose. But either way, this is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival game where you're in kind of like a grimdark, Dark Souls universe mixed with Terraria, trying to eke out enough of a living to put together equipment, sundries, and also enchantments, magic, accessories, so that you can go further and further out on into the map in order to get even better stuff. So it's got a little bit of a roguelike feel to it as well. Today we're going to be playing the game for about 30 minutes and seeing if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list. I'll be doing my best along the way to give you my first impressions commentary about this title, the things I like, the things I don't like, the things that I think need to change. But let's dive straight on in. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check that out there. On top of that, you can also find a bunch of other Nerdcastle links just in case you wanted to give them the old spicy click. Don't worry, nobody's gonna rat on you. This is very much no snitching territory when it comes to the interaction and the way that you choose to interact with them of the links. But let's go ahead and start off a new game. So at the beginning of the game, we're gonna have to go ahead and create our character. Let me go ahead and do that, and we'll kind of see how we come out. The Lucius Bishop. Okay, that's kind of like a manly name right there. There we go. Give him a big old beard, like a big old beefy beard. Maybe I'll make it a little bit red too. Can we lighten it up a little? I don't know if I want it to be that light. That might be a bit much. There we go. A little bit of dullness to it. And then the final thing we've got to do before we go into the game is that we are going to have to find ourselves a class. Now, all of the classes in this game are suitably grimdark to go along with the sort of somber strings that we have echoing through the air. You can be the tortured, you can be the flagellant, you can be the gray prophet, the nomad, but there's also actual classes in here like the brute, which is the one that I'm going to play today, because when it comes to getting down, I prefer the old unga bunga tactics, man. I can't help it. And then our character, just to stay on theme, is going to be named Ichabod Creel, the kind of man that sounds like he walks into town with a black trench coat and hat, a buffalo rifle with his spurs clanking. Let's create him. So at the beginning of the game, it's going to start you out inside the safe zone. This is a free build area that is free from the fog that's converting and destroying the rest of the world into undead monstrosities. Nothing can bother you here, at least as far as I've seen. I've played the game for about an hour. Nothing's really attacked my base here, but there's not a whole lot that we can do with this area as of right now because we don't have any resources to build it up. We do have a club right now that we can play around with, and it's going to be our most basic blunt implement for harvesting things like trees, killing monsters, and stuff like that. So let's go to the right and I'll explain how the game works. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got ourselves a hunger meter. That's going to be the yellow meter. When that goes down below 50, it's real bad. So my advice to you is don't let it go down below 50. We've got our health above that, and we've got our infection level above that. I almost said our affection level, but I don't think this is going to be a real affectionate trip. Let's check the map real fast, see if there's anything good out here that we can gather. It doesn't look like there's anything that's got my attention right now. We are going to need a decent amount of wood and some stone in order to make our starter tools, which are going to be a lot more efficient than what we have right now. So what I want to do is I want to look for clusters of 2 trees like that right there, because one little exploit I found is that if you cleave trees down, it only costs you one hunger per harvest, but if you do individual trees, it costs you 1 per harvest. And so it's a good idea to max. I found keeping my character fed in this game to definitely be the most challenging aspect of the title, and so it's made me find these little efficiencies. Nay, it's kind of forced me to find these little efficiencies. We're gonna need the wood to build up our base anyways, so let's just gather up as much as we can carry from the double cleave spots, and then we'll try to bring everything back that we can to town. Sometimes the trees will give you apples, even though they're pine trees. I am going to go out 1 tile further, I think, because our initial harvesting was actually pretty bad here. We didn't really find anything that's going to help us out, but what we did find is a whole bunch of monsters on this map. Now, these mushrooms, it's going to be real tempting for you to eat these mushrooms. I would recommend that you not do that because these actually refine into a much better meal. Oh, we got bugs everywhere over on this ow. Okay, well, the dash feels really nice inside the game, but here's one problem I have is that when I fight these bad guys, if my weapon hits anything harvestable, it's going to cost me stamina, and there's no way to kind of force your weapon to ignore things in the background. So you're going to have to do like this annoying dance of kiting enemies back to where you actually want to fight them at, unless you want to lose a ton of stamina from fighting. And so that would be my initial observation. Let's just beat that tick to death. The rest of them are on their way in, though. That one's infected, so watch out for him. He's going to be a little bit of a menace as we get further into the map. They are kind of like gathering up, and I am losing health, so let me just go grab this mushroom over on this side, because that's all that I was really interested in anyways, was the mushy. And so, I don't want the amanita. The amanita will kill me. I don't want that one little bit, but I do want the little gray ones. The little gray ones are helpful. Hey, there's another little gray one. All right, so I've got like 3 mushrooms ready to go. When I cook those, they should turn into like 60 hunger being restored, so that's good. Let's go back to our house. We can return at any time, and it doesn't really cost you anything to go back to your house, so don't worry about it too much. And if we see any tight clusters of trees or rocks, I'll try to double harvest those, but it doesn't look like it's going to give it to me. Let's go home. I don't know what the little crossed swords mean when you go back home. Unclear to me as of right now. But the initial thing we need to do starting out is we need to jump into our crafting menu, and we're going to need to make ourselves a home. And so I'm just going to convert all the wood we've picked up so far into wood blocks. These are going to be helpful because I can make myself a little starter hut that we just live inside of. And there you go. We're off to the races. We'll put that right there, and we'll break all those down. So far, like, building seems to be fairly reliable. And then right-clicking, we'll put in background blocks, because a lot of different objects in this game, like the workbench, they're not going to work unless they have background blocks behind them. But for now, we don't really have too much more to do except go back out into the field and hopefully gather some more stuff to help us stay alive. I'm hoping that our randomized map here gives us something a little bit more advantageous this time around. Apples from the trees, maybe a little bit more mushroom action that we can play around with. Nope, no apples from those trees right there, but if we beat up the grass, we can get ourselves occasionally wheat seeds that we can plant back at base that'll start to grow over time. We do have a mushroom right there, so I'll keep that in mind, but we're getting awfully close to hungry right now, which is always going to be the struggle that I've run into in the early game, is that it's real hard in this game to actually get enough stuff to keep your hunger meter from really snowballing and messing you up along the way. Hey, the good news is we got 2 apples out of those 2 trees, and we got an apple on a table, I guess, which is like a placeable object. Okay, I'm gonna down the 2 apples right now because it buys me a little bit more time of harvesting. That's what I was hoping would come through. Like, the early game is actually kind of brutal in this game until you get yourself situated. But if I can get a little bit more stone and like a little bit more wood, and maybe this guy drops an apple. No apple droppage, but we should have enough wood and we should have enough stone to get started now, which is all you can really ask for. I think that'll get us to a place where we can cook off these mushrooms. These things right here, they give you 3 health and 3 hunger if you just eat them raw, but if you cook them, they give you 10 and 20, which makes them way more efficient. So like, so the workbench is gonna cost me 5. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna need some more wood plank blocks though, in order to fill in the background. And so let me fill in background here somewhere. That way I can start placing workbenches and getting myself into a situation where I can manufacture goods in order to make my survival a little bit easier. That should give us enough space to put down a workbench, so there we go. I really like the art style of this game. I think the pixel art is really fantastic. I'm gonna need a little bit more wood in order to cook off my first batch of mushrooms. I totally forgot about that. And so we've got a little bit of a problem on our hands. I'm going to have to spend 10 of my hunger in order to go back out into the field. I was hoping to spend that 10 because everything that you build in this game, it takes a certain amount of map transitions in order for it to craft back at home. And so I was trying to be efficient, but of course I screwed the pooch on that one, as I so frequently do. We do have like a maybe I can get a triple right here. Can I get a triple right here? I would like to get a triple. All right, I'm going to chop down these trees just to get the necessary wood in order to get our cooking going. And also, it'll probably be helpful. No apples, unfortunately. We're also getting really bad spawns, but we did get another mushroom over here, so I'll take that. Unfortunately, not the best trip out into the nothingness, and I'm so hungry right now that I have no haste going for me, so I think I've just got to go back to town. The good news is we have enough wood to get our first batch of dinner cooked off, and so that's exactly what I'm going to do, because that'll fully refill my hunger meter when we come back next time. But we are incredibly vulnerable right now. As you've noticed, our character is much slower than he previously was as it stands. Our house does have a comfort level. I think the comfort level has a chance to bring in like vendors and people that'll sell stuff to you, and so something to keep an eye on. I don't think I really have any stamina left to gather. Anything is going to hurt me if I try to gather. It's not going to hurt me if I'm bottomed out and I try to gather, so actually it may be a really good idea to strip the map clean this time for as many apples as we can possibly get. Strip the map clean I did, and we should have enough building materials now to get ourselves a full set of tools. Is my inventory full? If you interact with this thing and your inventory's full, sometimes it just throws the objects all over the place. There we go. Get some food inside you, buddy. I believe in you. All right, all meters filled back up. Looking much better than we did previously. First things first, I need better harvesting tools, man. I need better harvesting tools like the desert need rain, and so I'm going to do that. We've got all of our tools arranged. Let me get them all onto my hotbar and stored up and put everything in its proper place. Hey, we hit comfort level 1. Nice, dude. We need 30 more points. There's a 15% chance we get a wanderer that'll come through. Unfortunately, I'm broke, so I don't think a wanderer is really going to be that much help right now. How's the sword do? The sword's slow, but maybe it hits hard? It does. It's refined. Hell yeah, dude. I made myself like a Diablo-style weapon. I do like to see those sorts of mechanics in the game, though. It makes me... Oh, I forgot to queue up the next batch of mushrooms, dude, before I came back out here. Lame. All right, well, let's just go gather some other mushrooms. 18 damage? That's not terrible. I do need to become like a sheep hunter out here. And it looks like my bow's actually looking pretty good too. Maybe I'll just rely on my bow from here. Oh, the bow one-shots the actual sheep. Okay, we're never using melee weapons ever again. This is the stuff right here. Now that I'm looking, I was kind of curious because it felt to me like different tools had different swing speeds, like they're not all equalized, and that's 100% true. So all of the tools that I crafted suck. They're not very good. They're all on the low end, which explains why I'm being so efficient out. Like, I was playing the game and I was like, man, all of these things that I'm cutting down trees with and that I'm harvesting with, they feel like ass, bro. They feel terrible. Like, they feel clunky. They feel awful. As it turns out, I just got really bad randomized rolls when I crafted my gear. And so there is going to be, it looks like it's a game that wants you to fish and, like, craft the same thing a bunch of different times just to see what you'll get out, because this right here is just not an efficient way to gather anything, in my opinion. Honestly, the biggest recommendation I would have is to make the early game go a little bit smoother and stop players from being like, why is this game so clunky? Like, crafting tools, when you actually make them, their baseline should be set and they should only be allowed to get bonuses. They should not be allowed to get negative modifiers. Just an observation to make the game flow a little bit better. Because like in something like Terraria, it's supposed to be an exciting experience moving up the tiers and getting like a new tool that allows you to access something that you can't. Making it so that you can get a rad tool that just randomly rolled a really, really bad attack speed so that it feels awful to use, it just feels kind of like eyebrow raising to me. You know, it's supposed to be like a reward for your hard work, and instead it kind of feels like a punishment, I suppose. But it's not all bad news. I actually managed to get enough apples out over there that we'll be able to feed ourselves and go back out afield once more with our buffs in tow. Let me get all of my food cooking. So we'll get all of our food cooked, and then I'd also like to make a furnace with the rocks that I have available. Then from there, we need to get some more background wall rocking. I think like 50 background walls should be enough. I didn't actually like measure the area of this to figure out how many I'm gonna need, but getting ourselves perfectly enclosed feels like a good idea. There we go. Get all that wall in there. Get it looking good. And we ended with 4 pieces of wall left over, which is exactly enough to finish our house. Man, do I have a good eye, or do I have a good eye, or what? You can tell that I used to be a roofer because I can just look at a space and be like, that's going to be about 19 shingles. Well, it's going to be about 21 and 3 fish shingles right there. Just eyeball it, man. As it turns out, when you spend your entire life just looking at a rectangle-spaced area trying to figure out how many other smaller rectangles you're going to need to fill it up, you get sort of like an intuitive vibe to it, man. I spent some time farming off screen for the stuff that we're going to need to go on expedition further out into the world, and so I'm happy to say we got a ruby. I was mining like random copper nodes, and I got a ruby, so that's pretty sick. I think I'm going to need to streamline a little bit here, though, because our inventory is absolutely tacked out. I think I only had 2 types of objects in there. I think I had food, and then I think I had... Oh, that's still got a little ways left to go. Okay, let's start making woolen fabric for our next trip to the out of doors, but I should have food now. Yeah, we've got loads of food, so let's go ahead and eat 3 of the mushrooms. That'll take us up to 60. We now have a full stomach. I'm going to keep apples on me, too, just in case. I'm not really going to try to harvest on this trip. I kind of just want to take my flawless, simple short bow, and I kind of just want to go, like, out into the game world and see what we find. I suppose I could make a second workbench, too. That way I can work on more projects while I'm not home. It's not like I'm short on any of my resources or anything. So we might as well. What do I need for all this other stuff? So, like, give me 2 tanning racks. It's going to take a little while for those to get done. We've got a fishing rod inside of there. I did want to get another batch of food going, too. We're not going to have the stuff for the bed until we get back, I think. We need hay blocks in order to make that stuff. We can also make hollow blocks. I did want to make a storage chest as well. So now we've got a bunch of stuff cooking up right now that I think should be done, not after this trip, but let's head out into the field. We'll go on an adventure this time around and just kind of see what we find in the neighborhood while trying to expend as little of our stamina as humanly possible. The cool thing about the bow, you can use it as like a harvesting tool to shoot things like mushrooms and plants and stuff while you're cruising around the map. Come here, you little bastard. Come here. Yeah, give me that wool. I still don't know if those guys can feasibly drop meat or anything else that's edible, but it'd be nice if they could. I don't know if I need to gather grass, but gathering up the wheat seeds that drop out of the grass might be a good idea. I'm going to leave the fly agarics alone because they just eat up inventory space, but I'm more than willing to drop quite a bit of my stamina here going out into the field on the night is falling. I do like that the game has different day cycles. Yeah, okay, without a melee weapon, these things are a lot safer to deal with. Let's just put some arrows on them, especially considering my bow rolled so much better than everything else that I crafted as we were heading on out into the field. And so, like, yup, you die. Okay, what'd they drop? They drop putrid hides. I'm probably going to be able to use those in order to make leather or something, which may get us into some armor. Something that makes us a little bit sturdier when the enemy comes a-knocking. The farthest out that I've been is like 3 or 4 tiles, so things might start getting a little crazy out here. Oh, there was money inside of there, but it fell off the map, dude. I can't get it. Why would you spawn the map that way, dude? That's called, what the hell is that? Are those bad guys? They've got to be bad guys. Rotting lunatics. Yeah, that'll do it. I need my stamina to come back. Rotting lunatic, please die. There we go. Rotting lunatic is dead. What was that blue icon that popped up? A refined worn dagger. So it's way faster and hits almost... I mean, if you take the attack speed into account, not a bad weapon for covering my ass if the enemy gets too close. If I try to stab this guy, how hard is that going to be? Ow. So I thought the explosion of grass was him dying. It was not him dying. I think the bow might still be the better way to do this. And then we hot swap our weapon like midway into his charge. Yeah, a little bit of cash coming in too in case we find a vendor. That guy's infected. Oh, this guy's scarier than the other ones. This guy's a problem. This guy's a menace. Ooh, 25 damage crit though. Okay, I'm just going to stick to ranged weapons. I regret not taking the ranger as my starting class because ranged weapons seem to be the way to deal with this. I'm going to wait for the fart gas to go away, but what's that? It's probably a healing potion, right? It's got to be a healing potion. Be you a healing potion? Yeah, it's a healing potion. And the fart gas isn't really going away. It's just kind of hanging there. It's a little bit of a clinger, dude. It's a little tiny bit of a clinger, but I'm like scared to accidentally touch it. So I may ignore that coin right there and just go further on into these maps maybe. We can get rid of the sword. I don't think it's going to be that valuable or helpful in the near future. Get rid of the grasses. Maybe even get rid of the poisonous mushrooms. I've always wondered what the difference is. You ever notice like in video game design, some developers distinctly make their healing potions red and other games make their healing magic and their healing potions green. I've always wondered what that implies about the what is this? Feel free to browse my goods if you have the coin. Okay. What do you have? Nothing? I'll sell you a ruby if you give me 150 bucks. That sounds really good. He's got some copper ore. I'll probably take that. The health potions might be nice, but I was sort of hoping he would have refined food or something on him I could use to future-proof myself against starving. I don't know, this game makes me paranoid about starving. The sheep ran off the map. I should have thought about that better. They run in the direction that you, like, they run opposite the direction you shoot them from. If I had used my logic brain, my big adult brain, a sack-headed lunatic. All right, let's kill these guys off. Do I get any kind of bonus for a headshot? Oh, he got me. Okay, but I got him too. There's a treasure chest right there, and I want it. I don't think we want to fight him from, like, up close. You know what? I'm going to dash through it. We're just going to knife that guy to death. There we go. What's inside his treasure chest? I can't open the treasure chest. So maybe you have to defeat all the enemies around before it becomes unlocked? I don't know. Oh, there's more coming from that way, and they jittering, bro. They jittering real hard. Just grab what you can, and then I think we should probably run for our lives. That may be the smartest plan here. My ass is being destroyed. Back to town! I think we're going to need better gear before we go that far out. I do think so. This purple vignette that the game gives you, I think it shows up too early for your infection level. I find any type of vignette or any type of thing that's an overlay on the screen to be obnoxious in video games. Whether it be like that red glow that you get when you're low on health or whatever else, can't stand it. And so anyways, this right here, it should not really show up till you're like at least at 50. I don't know. You start getting infected really, really early in this game, but I do find it to be a little bit obtrusive. What did we pick up here? So we got some more mushrooms. We're just going to cook the mushrooms outright on that bench just to keep ourselves fed, get a little bit of health back. I don't remember what we were doing. I probably should drink that health potion too. That seems like something a smart human being would do. But we've got our storage chest, we've got our cloth, we've got our little things that we need in order to make it through the night. I'll probably just sell that to a vendor. But for the moment, let's get the furnace sat down. So we now have a furnace. What's it going to cost me to make copper? Oh, we can also cook fish. Okay. And it takes wheat in order to grow that. So I think I'm going to have to grow some plantas out here too. All right, let's grow these. There we go. So we've got like a little wheat field out front. The place is starting to look lived in. Where was my storage chest? There's my storage chest. Let me take the storage chest, and can the casket go on top of things? It can't? Okay, well, I'll just put it right there for now. That gives us a bunch of space. Hell yeah. Okay, and then I've got my tanning racks. I should probably put those down too, although I don't know where I really want them to go. Oh, they've got to be on the inside. That's interesting. Okay. I think we're going to need some more floor space before I can build more stuff. I think you can build stairs. I think. But I don't know exactly how that's going to go. Well, the good news was I was able to hollow out my ceiling so that I can start building up here and have a secondary floor. But the downside to it is I can't get the platform system to work. So it looks like there may be some bugs in that overall system that stop it from working kind of the way that you want it to work. There we go. I think I've got it working now where I can actually pass through these objects right here and they don't have collision. So now we got a ladder that goes up to the second floor at least so that we can start plotting on how we want to make this tower a little bit bigger. But that does mean that I'm going to have to go back out and I'm going to have to, what is that? Potion sickness. You may not consume potions. All right, fair enough. So we've got food cooking over there. I did want to make a bed, but I used up all my wood. I was fishing for good pickaxe rolls. I got a flawless axe roll, which is great, and so my axe harvesting should feel a little bit better. That pickaxe is still better than my decrepit one, so like we can get back out there and harvest a little bit more, but we are going to need quite a few more things, I think, before this starts to become efficient. Let's go ahead and inside of here, we will make some copper. I'm definitely going to plot on whether or not it's a good idea to get a fishing rod. That way I can start cooking fish too, because there's almost like a little bit of an automation feeling to this game where you kind of got to get it going. A cooked rat steak. I haven't even seen any rat meat, so unfortunately I don't have that. But it is nighttime right now, so I think being out in the woods is going to be a little more dangerous. How dangerous? Hard to say. But really, I only need to chop down like one more tree. That way I can make myself a bed and sleep through the night. So we're going to like take our chances here. Oh my god, it feels so much better. Okay, so definitely take the time to fish out crafting and harvesting materials that have better stats on them, man. Definitely take the time, because like the higher damage and the higher attack speed, oof, it takes the game from feeling like an absolute clunk monster into actually feeling pretty satisfying to play. I'm of the mind that when it comes to doing something boring like harvesting materials, it should always feel good, but maybe that's just me. There are little details, though, inside of this game, like when I stand next to the fart gas, look at the subtle way that it throws lighting onto my character. There are signs here from the parallax in the background, from the general animation style, and from the way that the light is configured, and also the reflections on the water, that the developer definitely knows what he's doing in a visual sense. Really what the game just kind of runs into is it's a very farmy game. Like, it's got like some pacing problems in there in the early game, where all you want to do is get out and explore, do some gangster stuff, beat up some random zombies, but like you spend so much time like foraging for food and whatnot that you got to kind of focus on it. On the plus side, we have all the stuff we need to make a bed pretty soon, and so I'll probably just cook off the rest of my wool fabric for me, please. And then now that the wool fabric's been cooked off, we do need to make the house more comfortable and like more livable. Oh, there's a shelf. I wonder if I can put my storage chest on top of the shelf, like above my stuff. That'd be really nice. I'd actually appreciate that a lot. Fishing rod we can make right now, which may give us solid access to more food. We also have the stuff required for an anvil right now, but I don't have a place that I can actually put it down. I'll queue it up because all of these things take a really long time to craft, but some inventory management had to happen before that in the meantime. Oh, look at my little sprouts, dude. They're growing. They're actually becoming something. Nice, dude. Do I have any more of them that I can plant? Because the wheat looks like it converts directly into bread inside of the actual furnace, and so not too much overhead on that right there if you want to get it up and running. I don't know if I want to go on adventures like way out in the field. It takes us an hour to get to all these places, so we might as well run out and just like graze on anything that we find. You run that way. Yeah, I need more wool. That's one thing that I can tell already, is that I'm going to need a lot more wool for all the various crafts and stuff that I have underway. Yep, definitely want more mushrooms. Don't really want to fight more ticks, but it looks like it's going to be necessary. Tick down. We've also got another one of the stink ticks over here, and he bit me, unfortunately. Oh, there's another one over there, too. All right, I'm just going to do that. And if I can get close enough to grab his hide, that'll be fine. And let's go a little further out and just kind of see what mayhem is out here in the blackness. It's now raining, though, which kind of makes slaughtering zombies a little bit more miserable. Like, what is that thing? Oh, the sack-headed lunatic. Okay. Man, they got some range on them, don't they? I think you just got to dash through that. There we go. Dashing through seems to be the play, but they do drop a decent amount of cash. Come on. I think I'm going to need me something that hits a little bit harder. Oh, dude, he just stunk out the way over. Can I dash through the stink? I can dash through the stink. I was kind of paranoid to test it because every time I've touched the stink, it like maxes out my purple gauge. And so that makes me feel like real nervous. What else we got going on out here? Oh, the vendor is always in the same place. Okay. Does he like cycle his wares at all? He does indeed cycle his wares. He's got a refined crossbow It shoots a lot slower, but it does, well, not as much damage. Never mind. So a refined crossbow is not nearly as dope as a perfect, flawless bow. Those cost 20 bucks a piece, though, and it's not like I'm hurting for money right now. I'll take all 3. I'm also going to harvest these sheep while I'm over here. Sheep ain't nothing but a victim to me. There we go. Got him. I don't know what that apple fell out of. We got like a... I don't know what that mushroom fell out of. It must have spawned behind the building or something. I'm going to go out a little bit further. It's almost morning. Like, light is almost upon us. You can see the sun coming up right now. So it can't get worse, can it? Like, it can't get nastier. We've only got ticks on this, man. I don't care about ticks. Ticks can die right now. What is that thing? A broken odd spring. It gives me a 42 jump bonus. I get down on a 42 jump bonus. Oh, yeah, dude, that makes me jump way higher. Okay, I can live with that. I don't know if every enemy has a chance to drop, like, procedurally generated loot like that, but I'm not going to question it neither. Get that tick real quick before the other one notices. And then, ideally, I'd like him to die behind me. Oh, he dropped a spring, too. Is that spring better? A flawless springer. Okay. Can I duplicate him? I can't. All right, so we'll take the good one. Oh, dude, I jump now. We jump now, boys. We got that height on it, and we're bringing back hella food today, too. That should secure my next couple days' worth of adventuring. That'll be good. Next map does have some ticky-doos on it. I'm just going to jump over him, man. I'm basically Legolas at this point. I'm built for the acrobatics. I don't think I even need to worry about dodging any longer. Because, like, jumping doesn't use... Oh, jumping does use up my stamina meter. Okay, never mind. I made a false proclamation once more. Feel free to mock me for not understanding. I think if I go a little further... I think this is about as far as we can go before we get hungry. And so I'm either going to have to eat some food... Or I'm going to have to chop down some trees to get some apples, but there's no guarantee that those apples will be forthcoming. Another wilderness zone out here. I was hoping we get one of those city zones that had treasure chests and stuff. I'm a lot more strapped up for wear right now. I've got lots more things. I've got like health potions and all kinds of stuff to help me stay out here a little bit longer. Okay, a couple of you dudes over here. Now I don't have to worry about the stink clouds neither. Question, I can jump into a dash. All right, that was my next question, is can I dash while I'm in a jump? And the good news is, I can. There's no XP meter or anything, so I'm not sure why the game like is tagged as an RPG right now. And we haven't had any like considerable decision making so far, nor have we had level ups or anything, and so like I'm not really too sure where the RPG is gonna come on in, but this has been a decent trip, at least in terms of getting our food supply stocked back up. What is that thing, a mine? What's inside the mine? Just a bunch of like, are there bad guys inside the mine that I need to be concerned about? Oh, it's a giant rat. Okay, we've got oh, Jesus. All right. We'll just stay away from them for right now. Get what we can out. On the plus side, we may end up getting rat meat. Yeah, there's the rat meat. That gives 30 hunger. This is like one of the few games I've ever played where I'm excited about getting food over just about everything else. Can I open this now? We may have to kill all the enemies on grid before we can open that. It looks like there's a bunch more rats off to this side. We got a rotten bone or something right there. I don't know if we're going to use it for bone meal or how that's going to be helpful. Can you go further on into here? Or does it just kind of end? Okay, it just kind of ends. But some of these have kind of like a sheen to them. Ooh, a miner's helmet? Yeah, dude, give me the miner's helmet. Hold on. We're going to put that on my head. Now we've got some defense. We got a little bit of bread inside of there. I'm just going to eat that right now. Yup. What does the bloody rat bone do? It's a material for something. Maybe I'll ditch the old spring. That way I can bring the bread with me. We've got a lot of food and a lot of putrid hides on us right now. Maybe get rid of the amanita. Or I guess the agaric. And I am curious to see, do I get iron out of these guys? I think it might just be the lighting effect because it doesn't look like we're getting iron out of these, but it is a good opportunity to stock up on copper if that's what we were inclined to do. Still, not that worried about it for the moment. I will take the extra rocks because I think I'm going to fill in the second floor just with rock background to make it look a little bit different from the bottom floor. And I don't think I can carry anything else. I think we're full up for right now. So, let's head back. And I think we've got enough stuff at the moment that I feel satisfied with this excursion out into the dark. Minor health regeneration. I mean, that's good. All of our harvests are ready to rock, so we should have been able to pick up a few more things from there. We've got enough woolen fabric to, sleep through the night now. We've got our anvil. We've got a little bit of extra food to keep us going, and we've got a fishing rod. Can I fish just on this tile right here without having to leave? Before I answer that question, though, I rocked in, this upper layer. That way, can I take these off the wall? Is that a thing that I can do? I can. Nice. Okay. So this upper area right here is going to be our blacksmithing center. It's going to be the place where we get things done. I should have enough floor space placed too that I can put down an anvil. There we go. I'll put it right there. What does the anvil do? Oh, the anvil gets us into the good stuff. Okay, but we got to have some more resources to get it done. So I'm going to need to start manufacturing a bit more wool in order to make this happen. But it is going to take a little bit of time to get the new tools done. So there's still I kind of like what the game's got going on, in all fairness. So at first, when I first started playing it, I wasn't sure if I was a fan of the overall time gating, the way that all works. You kind of queue things up and then you go out into the field to do various tasks and then you come back and things are done. There's a planning element involved with this game when it comes to the amount of time units you're using, exploring the world, where you've got to plan things out so that things kind of pop when you come back, so that you've constantly got a good food supply, so that you've constantly got things going on that allow you to progress. And if you don't take that into account before you leave, it's very, very easy to just kind of run out of stuff. I would like to make a bed, and I think I used up all my wood making other random things like a new pickaxe. I do think we should be queuing up copper every single time that we leave the base. That way, we've also got a nice supply of it for when we start making armor for ourselves. I also need to keep sheep's wool cooking. And luckily, I have no shortage of raw wool to turn into fabric, so that should be okay. I think I need to get out and gather from trees now. I don't know if that's ready right there. It kind of looks like it's fruiting a little bit, but it's I'm going to give it another day or so just to make sure that it's ready to rock. But we've got ourselves a full meter on our hunger right now. We've got some backup food that we can take with us too. And so I think we're in a good place right now. But this is Mistaken. The thing about Mistaken is, the developer hasn't updated, what's going on with the game since August. Now would be the time to do that, though, because you're starting to get people that are asking on the forums, hey, is this game still in development or whatever else? From my perspective, I do think you have something compelling that you're working on right now, albeit it's slowed down a little bit by early game pacing issues. This is definitely a game where it takes some time to get the ball rolling and to actually get into the lion's share of the content, where you're producing and manufacturing things. I had to make a lot of edits just for Dead Space when I was chopping down trees and gathering resources just to get up and off the ground. But that, I would say your art is dead on point. If you're trying to make something that's almost like a weightier version of Terraria, I think that you've got that. I think your reticle is on the target right now, but you're definitely going to want to check in with your community because they're starting to ask questions up on the Steam forums about hey, so is this still a thing? And August was quite a bit ago. There are also little control issues that you're going to want to sort out. So for example, I have food right here, right? If I put it in a hotkey slot, if I eat that food, which you can only do with left click when it's in a hotkey slot, your character also attacks at the same time. You're going to want to make those keybinds distinct from one another so that you press F or something to use food when it's on your hotbar. You can right click it, I guess, to avoid that, but intuitively, the rest of the game's rules dictate that if it's on your left click and it's on your hotbar, it's on your left click, you know what I mean? And so just little things to be kind of cleaned up. And so anyways, check out the demo. You guys can play it for yourself. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today we're fooling around with a game called Mistaken. Tomorrow we'll be fooling around with something else. But for now, it's time for me to go and start working on the next video. Take care, folks.